It's Top Bets checking back in. We got our Week 13 top plays and stacks video coming your way. Before we get going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments who you guys are on this week. Go check out everybody at Occupy Fantasy, one of the best lineup optimizers in the DFS game currently. Check them out in the link below. Also, matchbets.com. Use code DB100. You get a 100% sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That is code DB100. Basically, in this video, what we'll be doing, we'll go over my top 3 game stacks. I'll talk a little bit more about the strategies in a little bit. And then we'll go 3 to 5 top plays at each position. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so let's dive into our top stacks of the week. We're going to fly through these a little bit quicker, not go as in-depth. If you guys want to join the free Discord, ask any questions, that link is in the description below. Also, make sure I forgot to mention, tune in every single Sunday morning for my live Twitch stream. We give out free plays, props. We were doing Survivor picks, but we are out on that now, so free picks and props, anytime touchdowns, anything like that. So tune in, twitch.tv/topbets. So top game stacks of the week. First one, we are going to go to Cincy, the Chargers at the Bengals. And this matchup features a total of 50.5, a -3 spread here with the Bengals being favored. Always want to target those close games, thinking they could be potential shootouts. So we're gonna stack both sides of this game. I like this. I like the Bengals side a little bit more, being at home. Then you could go, Burrow. You could go Mixon, and you could go Chase. Or if you don't want to include Mixon and maybe have Mixon outside of the game stacks, you could go Burrow, Chase. Then you have Higgins or Boyd. And then you could come back with Eckler. You could come back with Allen. You could come back with Williams. Williams is a little bit less expensive. Not a seriously expensive stack, so you could definitely get away with either side here and plug in some of those top wide receivers, some good value running backs this week as well. So I like that particular game there. Next one, what we got. So this one is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go one side. So I'm going to go back to the well. What we did last week, we've done a couple times this year, is stack the 3-by-1 Tampa Bay to the Falcons. So we're going to go 3 Tampa Bay players and bring it back with Atlanta Falcons player. Only the Bucs side we're going to stack. So Brady, the top quarterback in the of the slate, and then you could either pair him with Fournette, unlike what I did last week, and it cost me a lot of money. But no, you could either go Fournette, or you could go Evans or Godwin. If you go Godwin here, then you could also throw in Gronkowski. You could run it back. So what I'm running it back with from the Falcons side is Patterson, Pitts, or Russell Gage. So since we had Gronkowski, I don't like to double tight end. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Patterson here. So Patterson at 7,000. A little bit more expensive of a stack, so be cautious of your bankroll here in regards to stacking the Tampa Bay side of this game. Next one, our last one that we got, we're going to go to Vegas. I think the overs have hit like 6 of 8 home games for the Raiders, so going to keep on that trend. I think in this game, Heineke versus Carr, I think we can get some fireworks here. Also, it's going to be one of your lesser expensive stacks, so you can fit in those very, very chalky, expensive wide receivers like Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson. But you can go, Derek Carr. This Washington football's defense is the worst pass-rated defense in the league, so you could go with, Hunter Renfrow, or you can go, Bryan Edwards, or you can go, Waller's doubtful, so you're going to have some value here with Moreau. Foster Moreau. So this could be an extremely cheap stack that we could go and plug in a lot more top value plays. So then you could come back and bring it back with Antonio Gibson, or you could probably, my favorite is Scary Terry. Unless you want to come back with Logan Thomas, then you can plug in maybe Kenyon Drake or another wide receiver, Brian Edwards for the Raiders. But we're gonna stack both sides of this game. So if you guys have any questions about 3-1 game stacking, hit them in the comments below. We'll go on to our top plays. All right, so let's dive into our top plays now at each position. Quarterback position, we have 3 for you. So these are outside of the game stacks. So, Herbert, Burrow, Brady, Carr, and Heineke. Those are like the top 5 because those are going to be what we kind of centralize with our game stacks. If you don't agree with some of them, if you want to plug in maybe a few others, Lamar Jackson is one of them. Like his matchup here against the banged-up Steelers defense, I just don't believe it could be a game stacking environment. That's why I don't have him there. Matt Stafford as well, a little bit bounce back spot here against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Maybe keep an eye on OBJ's status. Cooper Kupp should be fired up, and then Van Jefferson is also there. Keep an eye on Darrell Henderson as well. He's got I think a quad issue that's not looking so good. So keep an eye on this one. But Matthew Stafford should be able to throw the ball 40 plus times, I would say. So nice little matchup he's got for a little bounce back against the Jags. Then you got Carson Wentz as my last one. So he has been playing out of his mind probably the last month or so. I know you see a 7 and a 10 here, but he's gotten 20, 24, and 26. So he's got ceiling potential if you want to end up going this game. I, however, think it's going to be a Jonathan Taylor game, so I'm probably going to be not too much exposure to Carson Wentz at all. Just a guy that I think could potentially pop at a reasonable price. Running back position is extremely favorable this week. There's so many good plays here that I don't think anybody's going to be like 30 to 40% owned like it usually would be in a very chalky environment. This week, there's so many good plays. You're going to have everybody kind of at reasonable ownership. So my top 5 in this particular order, Madison, I will have a ton of. He's projected right now in Occupy's model at 9%. I think that number goes closer to 15 to 16%. Only reason why it's not that high is because he's $7,600. So a little bit more expensive, but he is absolutely crushed in these situations without Dalvin Cook. So I do like Madison to smash in this spot here. Next one is Joe Mixon. Talked about him last video on the first look. Everything screams, he's going to be in a game stacking environment. If you don't want to stack that game, put him in separately as well. He's projected at 15% ownership in Occupy's model. So he is the most expensive one, or probably the highest ownership so far compared to Madison. Then you have Antonio Gibson's probably the best value on the slate. Antonio Gibson, he's at 5,700, I believe. Yeah, 5,700. Keep an eye on McKissick's questionable it says Gibson's questionable. He's going to play. He's going to be fine. McKissick is battling concussion, so just keep an eye on that. If no McKissick, fire up Gibson a lot. He's supposed to be close to 12% owned. And then there's 3 other value running backs. So Sanders at 5,200. You have Mitchell, who's at 6,000, so not as much value. And then you have Jamal Williams at 5,400. So there's that mid-priced running back this week has so many good plays. So Jamal Williams in particular right here, because DeAndre Swift is going to be gone. Dan Campbell has came out and said this is going to be a heavily involved Jamal Williams. We'll see. You are going to be rostering a Detroit Lion player. I don't like to play anybody besides Swift, but if Jamal Williams gets a lot of that garbage time, he could have some value here. He's probably the lower of my rankings compared to Sanders, compared to Gibson, compared to Mitchell when it comes to that mid-priced. But so many good plays. Those are my top ones there. If you guys have any other ones, throw them in the comments below. Wide receivers. So again, these are outside of our game stack. Obviously, we would love the guys in our game stack a little bit more. These are the ones that you can kind of plug in, to fill that last wide receiver spot in some of those, or last couple wide receiver spots that you need to. First one is Justin Jefferson against Detroit. Only factor out here that scares me is a blowout potential, but you can see his ceiling is about 40. He had a floor game of 4. Don't think it's going to be that case here against Detroit. Should be able to get his again. Maybe get in the end zone. Thielen took a couple of his last week. I like Justin Jefferson. He got tackled like the 2-yard line. So I like him to have another big game this week. He's projected at 13% ownership, so not too expensive or not too highly owned as well. The next one, talked about him last stream as well. Jalen Waddle. Depending on if Parker comes back or anything like that, I don't think Parker will be there though. Waddle is the guy. In a game that I think will be a little bit closer, it's dependent on if Daniel Jones plays, but ultimately think Miami can put up some points here, and he's projected at 20%, so he is probably the best value on the slate here at 6,400. Guy that is projected to be less than 5% ownership that I am absolutely in love with this week is Darnell Mooney at 5,600. I mean, he's the number 1 wide receiver on this Bears team, and he's combined for 24 targets in 2 weeks at 5,600. 20 plus fantasy points the last 3 weeks. Give me Darnell Mooney. A lot of it. He's 3% projectedly owned. You could have 15 to 20% exposure in 20 max. If you do 150 max, definitely can do something like that. But give me Darnell Mooney this week. The last 2 that round me out here is Deontay Johnson at 6,800. Target hog. Guy absolutely kills PPR format scoring. Has not scored below 11 points this entire season. So safest play with a potential to pop. And then Renfro is the other one who has seen the biggest jump without Henry Ruggs. And then you also are now probably dealing without Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro against the worst pass defense in the league at 5,800. He's projected for less than 10% at 9%, so I like him a lot there. Finally, rounded out with the tight end position. Gronk is probably going to be the most heavily owned, I would say. He's projected right now at 8%. I think that goes up and up and up as we go. This is he'll be involved in my Tampa Bay stacks. I love Gronk this week again. Guy that's projected right now 1% owned. I don't think he's going to stay there. I think he'll be creeping up to the 2 or 3%, but he's going to be cheap. 3,200 here. CJ Uzomah for the Bengals. He's not going to get many targets, so he needs to get in that end zone. It is a dart play. It's a kind of a salary saver if you need to, but Uzomah is your guy at 1% for that cheap play. And then keep an eye on Freiermuth's status. He could have a smash spot against the Ravens, who just cannot guard any tight end whatsoever. And then Logan Thomas. These are all kind of in my game stacks. It's kind of hard to get away from tight ends outside of game stacks if you don't like them. Goddard was in consideration. Just depends on Jalen Hurts' status there. Otherwise, you could probably fire him up. Then if you want a little bit more expensive tight end, George Kittle against the Seahawks is not bad at all as well. So before we get out of here, one last plug to the Twitch show. Make sure you guys check that out. Sunday morning, 10:30 in the morning. I will finalize my DFS lineups on stream with you guys. Tell you guys what my exposures are and answer any of your guys' questions. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you guys on Sunday morning.